because there is no black community, because we don't run anything. We have to go to white people to get everything. We even have to go to white people to get justice. And that makes no sense. And this is how I want to talk about how the white liberal media and Democrats are destroying blacks. At one point in history, the Democrats decided we need the black vote. And the best way to get the black vote is to give them stuff and make them be dependent upon the government. What people don't understand is there's a difference. Well, some people don't understand. There's a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, blacks tend to think that the Republicans are racist because they say pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do it your damn self without the government's help. But I want to explain to you how that's actually not racist. That's actually common sense. And it shows you that the Republicans have a little bit more respect, not for you, but for what you can do as an individual than the Democrats do. See, the Democrats are treating black people like they're little children, and I call them retarded children. See, retarded children, you do not believe that they'll be able to do for themselves. You do not believe that they will be able to function outside of your support. The Democrats also believe in big government. The Democrats believe in bureaucracy. In order to have bureaucracy, you have to have people who need the government. The Republicans believe in smaller government. In order to have smaller government, you have to have less people who need the government. By logic, the Republicans want to have fewer people looking at the government to bail them out of situations that they could bail themselves out of. The Democrats want more people looking for the government to bail them out of situations that they should be able to bail themselves out of. What does that tell you, black people? What does that tell you, your liberal friends and your Democratic friends think about you when every time an election season come up, they just offer you something that technically they don't even have to deliver on? Remember Barack Obama? He made a lot of promises. Did he deliver on any of them for you, black people? Black people. Right now, black men are out of work at, I think it's 22%. That's a huge percentage for you have a black president that cares so much about you. And yet black people have not complained because they believe, well, he's black and it's great to have a black president, even though he's not black and, oh yeah, he mama white. Anyway, you have a government that believes you are too stupid, too dumb to be able to build your own businesses, build your own neighborhood, police your own businesses, and police your own neighborhood. So therefore, they have to create bureaucracy after bureaucracy to keep you in line. So they make sure that they do things like not want you to have families, not want you to be able to feel like, let me point something out to you. Nancy Grace would never live in a neighborhood of you black people. She never would. So why is it that, matter of fact, most of the liberals would never live anywhere near you black people? This is what I want you to understand. It's two groups of people who claim they've got you on their side, but they would never live anywhere near you. The pro-blacks and the white liberals. The white liberals say things that they themselves know they don't believe. They just want to gin up this idea of there's this white hand that's ruining black lives. And if it were not for this white hand, black people would be great. And that doesn't make any sense because that's a white hand that's telling you this. By black people's logic, they believe if a black man is talking about black issues from a negative vantage point, that he's a sellout and a coon. So what would you consider a white man who's saying white people are wrong and white people are racist and white people are keeping black people down? What would you consider this white man? By the same logic you're using, you would not trust that white man because he'd be a coon, I guess, or Uncle Tyrone, whatever it is. And yet you don't see how the liberals and the Democrats are using you. Even at their start during the Great Society, Lyndon Baines Johnson, all of their policies were directed towards showing black people, we don't believe you can do it yourself. And as a matter of fact, we don't want you doing it yourself. Black people, please understand, Democrats do not want you being able to do things for yourself. Because if you start doing things for yourself, if you become self-sufficient, if you do not look at the government for help, then when you vote on policies, it will only be what policies are there that will allow you the freedom that you need to have your own destiny. That's it. Every American should want to have their destiny in their own hand. That's it. I don't need the government to give me health insurance. I'll get my own. I don't need the government to give me a place to stay. I'll get my own. I don't need the government to swing around every 5 minutes with the police in our neighborhood, because we can police ourselves. We're not stupid. We're not idiots. And we're not retarded children. The liberal media right now, every 5 seconds will gin up that black folks are being mistreated. Yet every time you find out either the black folks are not being mistreated, someone like Tawana Brawley told a lie or whatever, guess what happens? That same liberal white media will not speak up. Whenever there's a white family who's murdered by black folks, that white media still will not come up and say, well, this right here was a hate crime as well. Why? We're supposed to be a fair and balanced people. If a black dude come out and kill a whole a neighborhood full of white people, they still won't charge that as a hate crime. Why? The idea of a hate crime is a stupid thing anyway. But the liberal media is pushing this agenda, and it's white people doing it because there are no black program directors that are telling these newscasters to sway these things one-sided. There's no black program director that's saying this. So it's somebody white that's sitting there saying, you know what? We need to make these black folks feel like they're being downtrodden so we can come in as white people and save them and make them feel like, oh, this group of white people love us. You can't even claim white racism when you got to go to a white person and ask that white person to go and fire Imus in the morning. You got to go ask that white person to investigate Darren Wilson. You got to go ask that white person to investigate the Sandra Bland case. You're asking white people to go and investigate George Zimmerman. It doesn't make any sense. It shows you black folks how powerless you are. But instead of focusing on the thing that you should be focusing on, which is gaining and maintaining power over your own neighborhoods, over your own schools, over your own self, what they're doing is convincing you that that game of having white people kill you and then white people be the judge and the jury over the white person who killed you makes sense to you. Black folks, please understand that doesn't make sense. You can call me a coon or whatever you want to call me, but the so-called pro-blacks aren't teaching you this. They're not even telling you this. So that lets you know they're being funded by either white people or Jews, both from the liberal side, because there's no way in hell a black person would not tell you, screw the cops that's coming through your neighborhood. Police yourselves. There's no way that a pro-black wouldn't tell you, screw the idea of trying to get a white man's job and complaining that this white man won't give you a job, complaining that this white man won't let you play golf in their neighborhood, complaining that this white man won't let you come eat in his restaurant. Get your own.